welcome to this episode of the Reset Podcast. I'm your host, Luna Danielle, and as part of my 29 Days of Magic series where I interview phenomenal Black women for 29 straight days. Today, I'm super excited to have Amanda Jane Thomas, who's the CEO of the amazing coffee brand Sip and Sonder. She's an incredible story, and I can't wait to dive in. Hi, Amanda Jane.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm good, girl. How are you?
I'm doing well on this lovely Monday.
It's a Monday. I gotta tell you that.
It is a
Well,
Monday that Monday, okay?
but I want to kick off a conversation with the first question, which is always great. Answers are always hilarious. I'm sure yours will be no different. So, Amanda Jane, what was your all-time favorite job?
Oh, my all-time favorite job was probably my first job out of college, which was I was working at Viacom at the time, and I was a strategic insights analyst, which was I think they kind of made up this role right before I started, but before this role I almost went into investment banking. And after when I was a senior in college, got that offer, signed my contract, and then like a couple months before graduation, freaked out because I was like, "This isn't my passion. This isn't what I love." And I got out of that contract, and then was like, "What am I going to do now?" And this opportunity really just landed on my lap, and it was such a beautiful. I think it spoke to both parts of my brain. I'm very much. I love Excel. I love modeling. So as an analyst at the bank, I was in equity research. So a lot of modeling out, et cetera. And so I love that part of my brain and the more like, nerdy part, but then also being a creative, and creation and the arts. And so with this role at MTV Networks, I was able to really, I think, do a lot of all the things that I loved, which was the first time that was, I think that was a very key role because I think it also showed me eventually fast forward to the desire to land in a space that spoke to all of the different aspects of myself, and not have to kind of silo out. I think we're all such dynamic individuals that have all these passions. And so one of the $1 million questions becomes, how do I land on the what I'm gonna, my career is gonna be, or the focus is gonna be, and sometimes that feeling of how, am I forsaking other things I'm passionate about? There's always the balance of what I'm good at, like that ikigai, of the concept of what I'm good at, the things I'm passionate about, what can I make money doing, et cetera, et cetera. And so I love that job so much because it was, fresh out of college, I was living at home back in New York. And so it was literally an opportunity to do something that I was actually enjoyed, that spoke to the different parts of me and the work that I was doing. And so besides my current, obviously what I'm doing now and have created is my ultimate favorite. I'm taking like working for someone else was the way I
It
answered that.
couldn't be. It literally. There are no rules
Yeah.
here. I love how people are. Y'all
Okay.
are all so
Okay.
rigid. Did I come down from the mountaintop with a bunch of two tablets saying this is the only way you have to do stuff? Like you can
You
pick
did not.
whatever
Just
you
my
like.
disclaimer for anyone that's like, well, why wouldn't you love what um
You wouldn't be doing it
what you do now?
otherwise, duh.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, so what you now do, so that first job was like a kickoff, and now you do something very cool. So explain to me how we got here. What's been the journey to get us here to have this conversation?
Well, so after the journey, after that job, I decided that I wanted to be doing work that was, what I thought at the time a very empowered profession, which was a phrase that I got from the former, head of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, John Payton. I heard him speak. And at the time I was debating going to law school and becoming a lawyer. And I think I was trying to put into words the why. And after, hearing him speak in an event one summer, was just like, this is the why. And so I pursued that path, and I ended up going to law school and then becoming an attorney. Um, did that for a while. Technically, I guess I'm still an attorney recovering, once an attorney, always, I suppose, but I don't really claim that as much anymore. But in, at that first law firm where I started my career doing corporate work in New York, I think from the day that I started, I knew that there was something else. Actually, really realized when I was in law school that that wasn't the ultimate of my dream anymore. But at that point, I was like, well, I'm still here. I'm in all the debt, and I got to see it through.
Like
Um,
I,
and
I
unfortunately,
can't get out
timing.
now. Damn it.
Uh-huh. Exactly. And so fast forward, started working my first firm, but immediately it was very much I would always ask myself and my peers and colleagues I worked with, friends at the firm and others, I would always ask like, what do you really want to be when you grow up? And I would ask myself that as well. And I was fortunate enough to have a couple different groups of honestly other Black women that I would meet up with periodically. So there were Black women at the law firm that I was at, my group of girlfriends from college. We so us other a group of Black women that I met just in around my neighborhood in Harlem where I was living, and just started to form these groups where literally the purpose was one to gather together in community, right, and just enjoy time and space with each other, but also specifically in each of those groups. And I think it was very much the energy that was happening at the time to really discuss and how do we support each other? How do we get to the crystallization of that? What do we actually want to be? What is the passion? What does that look like materialized in some way? And so in doing that, I spent a lot of time just in that space of trying to figure it out. Met my friend at the time at the law firm, and we would have those conversations frequently, and that kind of sparked this idea for the current company that I have that I lead, called Sip and Sonder, which we are a coffee brand that really we really key in on that the connection that exists between coffee and culture, and really invite the world to engage in that conversation with us. And fast forward, as that company has scaled and grown, it was time to bring on some advisors, as in that process of really who's our advisory team and the folks and that we really admire and appreciate having in our circle, one of which is you, Laura. And
Who,
so
me?
we, I know, it's a shock. I remember we got connected to you through the X degrees of
Universe.
separation, and the universe, exactly. And from the first day, and speaking with you and just having the opportunity to meet you was just like floored and run by just who you are is. And I mean, honestly, it really was. And I think it was I remember the moment that, we had a call. This was like after now we first met. So, we'd known each other now a little bit, and not that long though. Probably like we probably had only a handful of conversations before, but spoke to you about kind of this deal that we were analyzing and whether to move forward or not. And really we're just like very much feeling confused and like really just seeking opinion and like counsel in a way, right? Not legal counsel, but just advice and from someone that we respect and trust. And have the thought like, wait, why don't let's chat to Laura. And this was before you were officially an advisor. And I remember that phone call, and we're talking through, and I remember I don't know if you recall, because I was trying to like hide it, got really emotional on that call. And part
Oh,
of
I
the
remember.
emotion was okay, I was like, I'm
I
really bad
remember.
with hiding emotions. I was like, so I was like,
No.
part of those tears were one, just the weight of that was really just like, wow, it is so beautiful, and I'm so grateful to be in this moment right now and have this woman who's so amazing, really just gives so much of herself just because. Right. And that was something that I think I realized in that moment, like how much we don't have that, and that it's so needed, because you were just, and the advice you were giving, it made so much sense. It's one of those things, when you receive advice and you're like, oh, duh, like that makes total sense. But like perspective that's the thing with perspective. Like sometimes if you just don't have it yet or don't see it, you just don't. But then once you you gain that perspective, it's like this eureka that's like, well, obviously, how could we have not thought about this in this way or shape or form, you know? And so it was just a moment of real gratitude sitting there. And that's where the tears came from. And it was also the like, this is I crave this more, right? This is what it's all about. And realizing how we've operated for so long, you know, I think in all areas of my life before becoming an entrepreneur, even as an attorney, and before that, of we talk about just, you know, the like the need for mentorship and the networks that we have and the counsel that we keep around us, and that being so critical. And I think that on that call it made, I think some of that was emotion around like, this is something that has been so missing along my journey. And I'm so grateful for its presence right now. And so that's how we met. And the rest is history.
Oh, I'm in. Did you? Well, yes, full disclosure, I am an advisor at Sip and Sonder. And but more importantly, I just adore you as a founder. And I know that the world is challenging it. And part of the reason that like I try and be as open and as giving and as straightforward in my advice as I can be is that like when I started out being an entrepreneur when 15 years ago. There was nobody to talk to. Like, and it was very stressful. And I think a lot of the mistakes I made on that go round, I wouldn't have made if I had some more sounding boards. But we were all kind of like, at first dive in, we'll see what happens. But now, looking back on a lot of that, I think it's just important to be a resource and a vessel because it's just again learn from my mistakes. Do not do what I did. Please don't copy and paste.
And
But I think I think you bring up a really important point about being an entrepreneur that the road is lonely as fuck. And when you can
yeah.
have those communities and those groups, it comes in so handy. And thinking about what you've been able to do, talk to me about like what you think your sort of moment of reset was in this journey. And again, it could be with Sip and Sonder or something else.
I think my moment of reset was actually the business had already started. I think the moment of reset for me was a couple years into the journey when I think I realized that I was not my business. And that, I think when we got to a place where the business was thriving and doing well, um and I was struggling. I'm nearing, the burnout and all the things that come with, wearing all the hats and all of that. And I think I needed that moment of it hit me and I was just like, wow, like my business is thriving. It has its own relationships, its own experiences, its own successes. And if I'm not. And so that was the first kind of like eureka of like, I am not my business. My business is its own living, breathing thing. And so am I. And that separation, I think it's so natural, when you start anything, right? It's your baby and you pour everything in because if not you, then who, right? That's the mentality. And you're really believing in the what you're doing and wanting to see that come to fruition. And I think I had to have that moment of where then of the kind of stopping and pausing and being like, I have not, I've lost myself somehow in that fray, right? And that can't be the case either. And so to your question, that moment of reset for me was that like, okay, pause and how do I have to get that piece straight and sort that out and put myself on the table as one of the many things that needs to be tended to as well. And so that kind of was I think, the first thing that comes to mind in terms of like a reset moment during the path that I've taken this far.
And it's true. It's like you are not the only thing. Like you cannot become this autonomous being that's just a business. And I'm no longer Amanda Jane. Like nope, still
Uh,
here. Gotta be because you never know what's going to happen, and you also don't want to lose yourself in the business because that becomes even more challenging and more tiring and more toxic for you. It's like you've got to be able to like
yeah.
no, exhale, breathe, all the things. Otherwise, it will not be cute. And
It will
we
not
always
be
have to keep
cute.
cute.
It will not be cute. Yeah, and it's like it's so because I think also growing up, like there's the I'm originally from New York, and there's like the grind culture, and it's not something that's specific to New York. I think that is like a generationally even right where it's like that like you just gotta like put your head down and grind it out and work hard and yes, there's something to say for having that tenacious spirit and hard work and all of that, but then also it's like to what end, right? Like I am a big believer if you are if I have to be if I'm grinding that much and then I'm not doing something right, right? There's a time and a season for everything, certainly, right? So, yes, building something off the ground, you have to get it from here into real life, and that's some hard work. And so, understandably, that's going to be time. It's going to be effort. I was practicing full time as an attorney at the same time, right? So there's a lot, admittedly, on the plate, but the goal is for in building my business is for the sustainability of the business beyond me, right? And so, if am I doing what am I doing to set that up? And if and 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 if something like we're human, right? If I trip and twist my ankle and I can't do all the things and we're like, then what happens, right? Like, and that's the most innocuous of an example that could happen. But really, it's like seeing, really leaning into wanting. I always say I want to be replaceable in the sense of this business has to. I believe in it so deeply that I want it to live beyond me, right? And that means that I have to actually it starts with step 0 is, okay, so for that to happen, you have to also acknowledge and own you are not your business then. You're 2 separate entities, so let's just start there, right? So yeah.
No, it's important. And, I think we've all made that mistake of being like, "Oh, I've gotta do all this stuff." I could tell some horror stories. I'll give the easiest one. There was a car accident. I was in a car accident the day one of our activations was happening. I still
Oh
went to the
god.
activation. It was like that afternoon, and I remember, like, "Hmm, I don't feel
Oh,
so good. Like, I should probably sit down." And, like, I remember one of my staff was like, "Laura, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Let's just, like, get everything open." "Okay." And then, like, I went to urgent care after the event happened, and, like, "So, yeah, you have a herniated disc in your back." "Oops."
oops. We just do the
And they're
most.
like and this was the best part about it. So, like, okay, so basically, you need to, like, rest off your feet for the entire week. Like, give yourself, like, 7 days of just, like, lying on your couch, staying in bed, like, don't really get up. And I'm like, this is South by Southwest. I have a multi-million dollar activation for our biggest client in our agency's history, opening today. So I will rest when we get back,
Mhm.
um, which was not a smart idea. Um, I don't recommend
Okay.
you anyone
No,
ever doing this.
do not
Um,
recommend.
do not recommend. Also, don't wear high heel boots the entire time. Not
God,
a good idea.
trying to be cute.
Um,
Yep, we've all
I was
been
trying to
there.
be cute. I was like, "Oh, I had this like
Trying to
I had
be
these cute
cute.
blazers. I had these cute blazers and like these skinny jeans and these like nice this brand called Matt Berenson with these great like black heel boots. So they look like kind of like little pointy situation. Yeah, don't do that. Because on the way
Mm-mm.
back, here's how you can like miss your blessings, and this is why I'm gonna tell this story because it's horrible, but like oops. Um so down like we're at the airport and I'm standing at the gate and I'm like kind of leaning over and the woman's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Oh yeah, my back is bothering me. It's on fire. It's literally on fire." And they're like, "You know what? We have one more first class ticket. I'm gonna upgrade you." I'm like, "Great." So I get upgraded to first class. And it's the first time I'm ever flying first class. I'm like so excited. Um I was in so much pain that like I just like went to sleep and reclined the chair all the way back. I didn't notice that Andy Cohen was sitting next to me. I am the biggest Bravo
I
fan on
was
the
ready.
planet.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And I it
Oh
was
my
I 'cause
god.
I was like I wasn't paying any attention. I just was like, get me out of Austin. I just want to go home. I like this is, but like
Yeah.
I literally lost the opportunity to talk to Andy Cohen for 3 hours because he was sitting right to my right.
Right
And it wasn't until I
there.
got up and I was like, oh, damn, oops. I was like, yes, like it wasn't meant to be at that time. But also like
Yeah.
did not prioritize my health. So so yeah, don't do that. Like you have to take a break. As I said, I
Yeah.
say all this stuff so people do not make the mistakes I did because God, that was stupid. Now if I'm like a little bit tired, like I'll be in the back over here in sneakers. Y'all can deal with the rest. I'll be yeah, you don't need me.
Right.
Like,
Right. It's so
God bless.
that's so crazy. Like God bless. And we can it's like it's that's such a tangible example of like the things that we miss, the life that we miss living and unnecessarily so. Like tangible, like literally in front of our faces. And that's like a very tangible, it's like very like, okay, real example, because literally Andy Cohen's right here. But it's also just in the like, greater sense of just passing you by, right? And not living and being present because, of just not just taking it down. Like chill out, breathe.
Yeah, you,
like
but
yeah.
also giving yourself a moment to breathe. So I'll give a happier anecdote to this. So like,
Yeah.
so that like when you actually
Um,
do that, good things happen. I was doing an event in Cannes, and I was like, and it was ready to go. We're gonna have it was already, it was already running, but also I had a huge staff, and so I had time to go out at night because when you can, like that's part of the deal. You go out every night. And I end up at this party on the beach, and I see Naomi Campbell sitting on the beach in like high top sneakers talking to Swiss Beats. And I'm like, huh. And she's scheduled to speak at our event the next day. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm with my friend. And he's like, oh, you should go tell her your event's over there tomorrow. And I'm like, I am not a fame stalker. Like, people are people. I'm not about
mhm.
to bother her.
Right.
And so my friend goes up there like, oh, this is Laura. She's running the event you're speaking at tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my God. Also, she's Jamaican too. So like, and English. And I'm like, oh, so very much. So it's like, oh, really? Come over. And I'm like, hi, Miss Campbell. Like, hi, I'm Naomi. I'm like, hello. She's like, come sit down next to me. Tell me everything about the event. And I'm like, I lost my mind. And we ended up having like an hour-long conversation about the event, what was going to happen. She ended up
That's
asking me
awesome.
what to wear, what were her shoes, what shoes she should wear. And I'm like, you're Naomi Campbell, whatever you want, darling. But it was a testament to like, had I been working so hard at the other activation that I didn't take time to actually enjoy the experience I was in, I never would have gone over there. I would have met her. So that the next day when she
Mhm.
came, she was totally relaxed, super chill. We had a lovely time. She killed it on her talk. And it was, a delightful experience. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's like you have those moments where it's like, if I am present, presence will come for me. And when I'm not present, I will miss those things. And so that's the kind of big
Yeah.
part about all of this that like is so important for us to have those moments of like, all right, let me just rest a smidgen. I don't listen. Big thing I say about 29 Days in Med, especially for Black women. We are not from Krypton. We are not super women. So
Mm.
like,
We're not.
no.
We are not. Say it for the ones in the back. It's so true.
Like, no, we're not.
Let it.
And let's not pretend that we
Mm.
somehow can put a mountain on our back and then add another one and think that, like, yeah, that's okay. It's okay. Cool. No, it's not. Don't do that. No, absolutely not. And we've talked about this. I'm like, no, don't do it.
Mm.
So, because it's not worth
No,
it.
you know, it's not. It's
It's
not.
just so
It's
not
like
worth it.
it's so funny though because it's like when we all have operated for however much time just without really understanding that at its core but then once you're on the other side, I mean, perspective is just so beautiful because now it's like I can't unsee that way of seeing the world and flowing through it, right? But there was I mean, there were long times where it just wasn't here, right? But now being on the other side, it's like, yep, absolutely. Nope.
Ew.
Nope. I'll say a nope real quick, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no is a sentence.
Yeah.
And I remember saying it to some
Yep.
folks, and they're like,
It
"What? No, it's a sentence."
literally, it's a sentence. Doesn't always need the comma and the explanation or it's just
The word
no.
was no.
And
That's
then you can
it.
elaborate if you like, if it's appropriate or if it's, but no, no, that's it.
No, we're just gonna say no. We're good. We'll be alone.
Mm.
But thinking about being in this place right now, what do you think was one thing you're really grateful for?
Ooh, one thing I'm really grateful for is probably the my tribe, I would say. My group of close-knit, friends and family that I have around me, that have really, um, held me, I think, throughout my entire life, and especially, just thinking mostly about, um more recently in kind of this entrepreneurial journey, right? So I think that that has been something that I think there's something really beautiful and I think necessary about having um, a sounding board, having accountability that's in the form of love, but that really because it's rooted in love and the relationship that exists, it's radically honest, right? In a safe space where still I can still feel held, but also challenged, right? But we need different things at different moments. And that's the beauty of the tribe, right? There's the times when what you need is actually just okay, just spill it out, or just okay, cry it out, or let me what girl or whatever. And then the other times where you need the like, well, Amanda Jane, and then maybe give me some real thing that maybe I don't even wanna hear, and maybe I'm not in a place to receive it yet, but we also need that, and I think that, tribe in all of those ways, is so necessary, um, that I'm just so grateful for having that because I think that it's throughout my life and just the different phases that I've been in and places that my journey has taken me, it's just been something that has always something to return to, even now, where I'm blessed to have a tribe around me, like my friends that are now sisters. I've known them more than half my life now. So I'm like, we've known each other longer than we haven't, and that's just something, and to continue to be able to add to that, right? As you know my path continues forward, but I think, just extremely, extremely grateful for those loved ones because I think there's a certain level of grounding that, that I've been able to maintain and which I'm grateful for, that has come from just the who you're surrounded by, right? Growing up, your parents might be like, "Watch the company you keep," and, the bird, et cetera, birds feather, but it really is true, like, that company is so key, even more so. It doesn't have to be expansive, right? It can be small and tight, but it's so important, and so I'm really grateful for that.
I love that, and it's so very, very true. And thinking about all the things that you've been through and have been doing amazingly well. What's one thing you think you probably tell 18-year-old Amanda Jane?
Oh, 18-year-old, um, mm, that's a good one. Let me think. I think one thing that I'd probably tell my 18-year-old self um, to is to spend more time learning yourself and practicing loving yourself. I think that one of the most, I think, much later than 18, so much later in life, I think I had the moment at not I think, I did have the moment at one point where I realized that I didn't love myself the way that I thought that I did, or that purported that I said that I did, and it was very devastating for me, that realization. I almost went through what was like a heartbreak, right? Like, of that realization, and I think that that was just the idea of what it means and looks like to fully love yourself was something that I had to, um, like, learn at a much later, stage in my life, and the ways that how does that actually look, tangibly speaking? And it's something that I think, like anything, practice makes perfect, right? And so I say it, in response to your question, because I think that, if you started sooner, and again, it's a lot of trial and error, it's figuring that out, but even if it was just something that there was an attunement to much earlier, then over the years, as life had, took its twists and its turns and charted its course, there's the muscle memory gets stronger, you're figuring it out, and so it's something that I think it would just have the Amanda Jane, and there's no regrets, right? Like, our paths are past the way that life has unfolded, but it's definitely a, like, that would have been a nice thing to even have the language around this idea of what it truly means to love yourself, and how does that look, or just a bit earlier. So that's probably what I tell my 18-year-old self.
I love that. Fabulous. You just a wealth of wisdom, girl. All right, last question, really quick. Do you have a give or an ask of the audience? And your ask better be than what I think it should be. Go ahead.
So my ask is to support Sip and Sonder. We are a growing coffee brand that is, we have both our retail, so coffee houses, as well as wholesale as a roastery, so our packaged coffee goods. And as we continue to grow, and in a really exciting period right now of growth, and really looking towards the future and the sustainability of the brand, and what's ahead. And so, kind of locking in with us, and seeing what we've been up to date, as well as what's coming, supporting us, buying our coffee. We have our coffee available, for all of you to enjoy, as well as looking out for, as we continue to scale our physical coffee houses, and right now based in Los Angeles, but eventually, wherever you are. And so just really excited to, I think, I would say, Ian, with us, support Sip and Sonder, and that would, I think, go a long way.
Awesome. Good. I was like, you have only one ask to make. Like,
Oh, you're like, that's it.
so we will put all the details in the show notes, so folks can buy Sip and Sonder. I don't drink coffee except for Sip and Sonder. So that should tell you all you need to know, because I'm a bougie lady.
There you go.
So if I could, so
Okay.
so
Thanks.
so it's like, yeah, I'm tea. I'm British. What do you want me to do? But when I do have coffee, it's Sip and Sonder, and not because I'm a advisor, because it actually tastes damn good. So there you go. Amanda Jane, I
Got
adore
good
you.
taste, girl.
It tastes amazing. I adore you. And I love supporting you. I'm so glad we got to finally share your story, because I've been telling you for a while to talk about it. I took my
I
advice.
know.
But you're incredible, and thank you so much for being part of 29 Days of Magic.
Thank you so much, Laura. I adore you as well. I think you are just the bee's knees, and I'm so excited. I say that. I know that that's dorky. I say it like once a week. I think you're the bee's knees, and I'm so glad to be a part of this and everything you got going on. And so it's a pleasure and my honor.
Old Jamaican lady. So
I know. I can't. I'm sorry. Guilty. So.
yeah. Same. It's fun.
That is
Thank you
good.
again so much. And that's our show.
For 8 years, we've been asking the same question over and over again. How did this happen? My name's Mandy.
And I'm Melissa, and we're the hosts of Moms and Mysteries, the true crime podcast with over 55 million downloads.
We're two Florida moms who are obsessed with mysteries. Each week, we do deep dives into fascinating true crime stories.
We cover everything from infamous cases like Casey Anthony
to the bizarre and complex crimes right here in our home state, like the shocking murder of FSU professor Dan Markell.
We bring you the facts, but with warmth and wit you'd only get from two friends who have been hooked on mysteries since childhood.
Join us for new episodes of Moms and Mysteries every Tuesday and Thursday.
Listen to Moms and Mysteries on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast.
Oh, please, not that music. That music gives me nightmares from my childhood.
Could we get something a little bit lighter, some lighter music here?
Are you a fan of true crime TV shows?
And what about Unsolved Mysteries, the show that jump-started all of our love of true crime?
I'm Ellen Marsh.
And I'm Joey Taranto.
And we host I Think Not, a true crime comedy podcast covering some of the wildest stories from your favorite true crime campy TV shows all the way to Unsolved Mysteries.
Baby, you will laugh, you will cry, you'll think about true crime in a whole new way, and you'll also ask yourself, who gave these people mics?
New episodes of I Think Not are released every Wednesday with bonus episodes out every Thursday on Patreon.
And every Monday, you can listen to our True Crime Rundown, where we go over the top true crime headlines of the week.
So come and join us wherever you listen to your podcasts.